Bob your head.
It's only 4 feet. It's only 4 inches.
Welcome, welcome.
Is that a little raccoon? It's glittery.
Hey, bro, save some sakale for the rest of them. Exactly. Skipper today. Skip the skipper. That's easy to remember. I'm glad they didn't name me Trucker. Thanks for coming to McGee's. Before we start, I want to let y'all know we have life jackets in case of emergencies, okay? They're in this hatch up front. We don't have to wear them because of the size of the boat, but we have them, just in case. First aid kits, this red bag right here. Fire extinguishers are up to date and where they belong. In case of emergencies, oxygen masks will deploy from the ceiling. In front of my boat. A small Civil War cannon would be really ideal on a day like today. Maybe even just kind of some kind of snub-nosed pirate cannon, I don't know. But they're great fishermen. They're like Zen masters. Seriously, he'll stand there for minutes at a time and then boom, catch one. Look at him. Oh, he got tangled in a spider's web. We'll come back to this guy. This guy's a boss, though. The other day I came back from he was eating a crawfish. I came back from tour, he had a frog's leg hanging out of his mouth. Like, I had to go get a boudin ball, but it made me hungry. There's a houseboat over here to the right. That one's for rent. That's an Airbnb. It's called Houseboat Adventures. If anybody wants to spend a weekend in the swamp, that's the way to do it. Each the largest in the world. The order is the Congo, the Amazon, the Atchafalaya. So you're in the largest freshwater basin in North America, but third largest in the world. And the reason the water fluctuates is because we're on the Mississippi watershed. The water from here comes from 32 states and 3 Canadian provinces. This isn't just regular water. It's snowmelt from Iowa. It's rain from Michigan. Right now, another one of those Grady Gret. So 48-inch wingspan, that's what it looked like when they're flying. The flood of 27 was 26 foot high. So the water from here was as high as that levee. If you think about that over 1.4 million acres, man, it's a lot. I would say the main thing the Army Corps did, 65 miles north. In Simmsport, Louisiana, 3 major rivers meet up there. The Red, the Atchafalaya, and the Mississippi. And the Army Corps built an old river control structure to divert fresh water. They allow 70% of that water into the Mississippi. 30% comes here to the Atchafalaya. I want to talk about birds for a second. There's an osprey nest in a tree back here. I can't get close to it. We're going to get closer to one. But be on the lookout for the great big nest in the trees. What is this? Great blue heron? Okay. Oh, you know what? Yellow crown. They're almost endangered now because they're delicious. You're not supposed to eat them, but they're delicious. My buddy told me. They call that bird the ribeye of the sky. It's got a great big red breast. So, unfortunately for him, he's too delicious, so they ate a lot of them. But the trees that are straight up and down in the water, those are cypress trees. It's Louisiana state tree, but these are second growth. A big osprey, dude, big osprey nest out there. It's almost like a 2-story nest with a big bird up there. You see that? When you see a big osprey, that's the lady. All right. I like these little boats right here because the till is up front. So you can steer from up front, but if you hit a stump, you're going to get ejected. I guess everything's a trade-off in life. So these stumps were once cypress trees, just like the ones you see here, except they were much bigger. These makes this wood insect-proof for termites. It's rot-proof. When I say rot-proof, even though these stumps look rotten, if you cut them with your pocket knife, the wood is perfectly viable. It's bright red on the inside. Some of these logs, especially the big logs, sunk straight into the mud. They've been underwater and in the mud for hundreds of years. The mud makes them better. I can't think of anything that mud makes better, right? Maybe crawfish, I don't know. But the mud makes these boards stronger, the minerals in the mud, and it also makes the wood prettier. It turns green, it turns blue. If you can get those out of the mud, they're worth hundreds of dollars because it's so waterproof. When the lumber companies found out, they cut down every tree that they could right here. So everywhere you see these stumps, it was once a giant forest. And as the water goes down, you see more and more stumps. In the 1900s, the lumber companies cut down every tree that they could. So these trees were small at that time. That's why they survived. You can see evidence of the clear cut because a lot of these stumps are cut perfectly and they're all at the same height. And then the water drops and you see a whole nother row all at the same height. You can see how high the water was when they harvested those stumps. They're gigantic, right? But that's what happens when man controls an ecosystem. We help and we hurt. Hey, America. Oh, the gray stuff hanging from the tree branches, right? Spanish moss. Show me some hands. Who's from here? I can't lie to you, can't lie to you, can't lie to you. I can lie to you. So Oh, okay. Real quick. Bird in the tree. You see the nest? See the white head? Here, so they use the same nest every year. The mama uses the same nest. She lays 3 eggs every year, but only 2 chicks hatch. Only 1 baby's gonna make it as an adult. When 1 chick gets big, they kick all the small babies out of the nest. Right? These birds are fishing hawks. They catch 1 out of every 3 fish they try for. So they go down feet first, they come up with fish 4 or 5 times their size. They turn the fish's head into the wind, and on a sunny day, they put the sun to their back. They usually put the sun to their back. They blind the fish like Zero pilots in World War II. The fish never stand a chance. They make mates for life, which I think is beautiful. When you see 1, you always see 2. I'm looking for the second one. You see the second one? There should be another bird somewhere around here. Be on the lookout. But it's probably daddy catching some fish, doing some honeydews, getting the nest ready to fix up. Shoots, they're gone. Also, we have airboats that come through here. It scares all the wildlife. Not to mention these birds of mine said he thinks I was just hunting. I had a group from Michigan that said they reminded them of ice fishing huts. I've never done that, but like they go out onto the water, they have these little huts. When a loved one would die, they would cut their black hair, and as a memorial, they'd hang it from the trees. Over time, that black hair turned gray. So when you see that gray, it's your loved ones, it's your ancestors, it's your people, right? It's an epiphyte, not a parasite. It's an air plant. It gets its nutrients from the air and the water. It does not leach from the trees. The natives taught the Cajuns that you could mix this moss with a very specific mixture of mud, clay, and straw, and you could make a brick like an adobe brick in other parts of the world. We call that busiage here. We use busiage to build our structures and homes. Once we started using lumber from the cypress trees, we still use busiage as insulation in between the walls. You see? But they're nasty. I usually pick up trash, guys, but for the sake of time, we'll keep moving. But my vow to you is I will get that 95 feet through the mud, and then 6 feet when they hit straight as sand. There's no bedrock. It's the suction of sand that holds this thing together. Think about that when y'all drive across it. But it's a neat picture. In between the pillars, it looks like a tunnel. The pillars haven't budged. And you see these gelatinous sacks? These are fish eggs. These are brim eggs. So when you see guys cruising up and down here, they're fishing. It's like a worm and a cricket, you know? Like Andy Griffith opening theme song. And I just used gelatinous sack in a sentence. All right. I wish your dog had a life jacket. I wish this guy was. This would be in your favor. All right. As we get out here, we're going to start to see more and more boaters. But yeah, all these fish eggs are dead. You can see the ones that are dried up already. The water drops. Once they're exposed to the air, they're done. But the good news is there's more fish underwater. Jess, remember from the last time when it was low-loaded up the tank? The whole 18.2 miles was cleared by hand. But you can see the date. It says 6/28/70. So they wrote on that pillar when it was upside down on a barge. They got it here and snapped it together like a great big Lego. All the pillars were sunk passively. They didn't bring a pile driver to. You can see the scene where they would stop one pillar and start another one. There's a 15-minute YouTube video called Swamp Expressway. If you want to watch them build this bridge, check out Swamp Expressway on YouTube. They filmed them shipping the pieces here, which is fascinating. They only recorded 1 death for the whole making of this bridge. Rain has hidden from the sun. In this bridge is a great place to hide from the weather. You'll run into your buddies. You could lie about all the fish you just lost. But check out. If they say they just got one, they really got one. Hey, y'all. With wild boar now, as an invasive species, those are really bad. Those hogs are. The small ones are good. The backstrap is good, but you probably got a recipe. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, yeah. They stick. The storm passes. The storms always pass, right? It's going to pass. You might find yourself in an interior closet with a pillow. And if you don't know that cousin, it's you. You're probably that cousin. No judgment. We're all body positive. And also, I don't just throw marshmallows at my gators. I go to the butcher shop. Whatever they trim at the butcher shop that day is what I'm feeding my gators. So today it just happens to be ribeye fat. Yep, she's eating better than I am tonight, but that's how it should be. Yeah. Let me let her know that I'm serious. So sometimes people throw marshmallows because they float, but the marshmallows don't really do any good for the gators. The fat from the butcher shop floats, just like the marshmallows do, and it's something that they need. Watch the garfish. Yes, the garfish will eat up the pieces that the alligators don't. Must oblige. Let me go somewhere where everybody can see. All right. Come see my girl. Come on. Oh yeah, she's good size. What you doing today? Come on. Hey, dude, grab my ankles. I'm joking. Come see. She's all muddy. She's been hanging out in her den. Dude, she's pretty big. Come see my girl. Everybody's fine here. Come on. Come get a bite. Open. Show me some teeth, girl. Okay, we gotta keep moving. Oh, booped her on the snoot. Do the tail, Allie. Please. Okay, it almost came out. He saw it. There it is. This isn't the zoo or the aquarium, even though it seems like they're friendly and all that. They just know that the lunch lady's here, that's all. There's an oil pipe under the water. The oil companies don't let them leak, but it's not because they care about the swamp, it's because they care about their money, that l'argent. See, they're waterlogged. You see, he can't hardly get out this, he can't get in the sky. Beautiful bird, ugly sound. I feel like you've been in the middle of some great big adventure. So it is kind of costly. It does get kind of tough to run them, but it is worth it in the long run. All right, let's see if anybody's home back here. Y'all don't want to hear me just waxing philosophical about through here. I'm just clapping because I'm doing so good, man. Way to go, Captain Skip. Wow, you're amazing. There was a big boy that was coming from this way and one coming from this way earlier. But the fact that these guys were back here, y'all, the alligators are not really aggressive. I don't know if you're catching on to that or not, but they're not like the crocodiles that you think of, you know? So they really are scared of people. I'm looking for just a little V-way, kind of just like the hair. I think I see one coming back from over there. Alligators are cold-blooded, they're reptiles, so a lot of times they're sunning themselves, on a day like today especially. You guys see the head swimming over this way? From far back?
Way over there.
Way back. We won't give him a minute, but same thing. I might try to meet him halfway so you know. Big George right here. So this is my big one. Again, we're all body positive, but this dude's about 12 foot. This is one of my big ones. Come see, big boy. Come on. Territory of about half a mile to 3/4 of a mile. He's like a dinosaur for real. Watch this guy. TES. Now this stuff doesn't stink, so sometimes you don't go right at it. Oh man. He's so
He's so cute.
I moved it away from my face so that when I do my screaming. All right, come see, big boy. Come on. Come show him my trick, buddy. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Come show him how pretty you are. Open. Thanks, man. Okay, so now what's happening? These other gators are moving in. He doesn't like that. That's a lot of fat on here. Come on, buddy. That's a good piece. But he wants it from his daddy. Come see, bud. Come see, my friend. Come on. Oh.
He's gone. He knows.
Yeah, look at the dog in the tree. Oh, it's okay, bud. Now, the alligators can hold their breath for 45 minutes to an hour. So when you see a gator submerge, if you see bubbles right after, that's their claws in the mud. Come see my baby. Come on. Open. You can see the black. Oh, watch this. Watch. Still looking for my boy Georgie.
He's on this side.
He's on this side?
Yeah.
Let me try to get these little nerds squared away because they are cannibals. So there's another alligator. Okay, there he is. Let me try to... Two more coming this way. Another good size over here. Last count in Louisiana, there were over 2 million alligators. That's 1 for every 2 inhabitants of the state. Their front feet have 5 claws. Their back feet have 4. Their front feet are not webbed. Their back feet are. They have 50 to 60 teeth in their mouth at any time, and they go through 2,000 or 3,000 teeth in their lifetime. Not like sharks that roll out one behind the other. Oh, excuse me. These push out. So if you see, as a matter of fact, I'd like to look at his back. If he gets close, check out his back. Something bigger than him bit him. Its brain is always getting enough heat to function. Also, if you see a gator with its back out of the water, it's not posturing. It's just absorbing UV rays. When you see a gator with its mouth open, again, it's not posturing. It's regulating its body temperature. It doesn't sweat. It doesn't pant. An alligator has a palatal valve, so their tongue actually closes off their throat. Whenever they open their mouths underwater, they don't swallow any water. Okay, somebody said run over with a boat. Don't go hiking with him. He said run faster than the guy next to you. I've heard somebody say climb a tree, right? But the answer that we're looking for is run zigzag. Run side to side, run serpentine. If you run zigzag, the tail impedes the forward momentum. Their tail gets in the way. Less than 5 alligator deaths reported. If you look at that number in Florida, it's in the hundreds. And I think it's because we're not encroaching on their... I made this guy move. He's a good friend of mine, by the way. Okay, so we're surrounded by gators. This guy's new. Let me get him a bite. Does anybody know what you call a group of alligators? Like a gaggle of geese or a murder of crows? Does anyone other than Jessica know? It's called a congregation. We are in a congregation of gators. Somebody said, that sounds very southern. I do declare. And I don't feed these guys so much that they depend on me as a food source, right? These are wild creatures. What I'm giving them is just snacks. This just kind of supplements their diet. But this guy's kind of a jerk, so I want to make sure that he gets his bite and then leaves because he'll bother everybody else here until he gets his. It's right there. It's almost...
You grabbed it.
Yeah, there you go. Did he get it? Yeah. Try to get this one here. Feels like Mardi Gras. These are American alligators, but there are Chinese alligators. There's gharial, there's caiman, there's Nile crocodile. Over 24 species on Earth right now. Come on. Open. Here, love. Oh, it's right there. Come on. As long as it's both. And be on the lookout for the garfish. We have little bitty garfish that are coming through that are eating the meat pieces that the gators don't eat. This little nerd right here.
Quick question.
Yeah, man, sure.
What would happen if a person
Had a piece of meat in his hand. He was feeding the gator and the gator bit his hand. It let go. It didn't death roll. It didn't drag him down. An alligator is opportunistic. These guys are looking for easy food, right? And so if you don't smell like raw meat and you jump in there, you'll be fine. You might not be fine. You might want to stay out of the water.
But we hear about these rare situations where a dog or even a person's dragged down.
Where do you hear about that?
That's
In Louisiana or in
Florida.
Florida? So in Louisiana, there's been less than 5 alligator deaths reported. In Florida, that number's in the hundreds. 3 weeks on TikTok, I saw an old lady get eaten by an alligator in an old folks home, dude, and everything's real on TikTok. Oh, your core temperature. Check out Swamp Base. Yes, sir. 2 words. I said we do.
Question.
Yeah, man.
Why is that one a little...
Like again, like venom, like mutants, right? But I've been identifying this guy for a while. There's one other gator here that looks extremely weird, and I'm not sure why. And it's more so like he's got this kind of like film on him. He got bitten, and I don't know if it's like some part of his body process that's making him heal weird or something. But you know what I'm talking about? He's like great. He looks soapy. He looks soapy for some reason. Yeah. Hot when we stop the boat, but when I tell you this is the time to see the alligators, y'all. When you come out here in January, February, March, there's no gators here. So the hotter it gets, the better it is for the gator viewing. Let me back up. Let's talk about the life cycle of a gator. So from December to March, the alligators here hibernate. It's a form of hibernation called brumation. Has anyone ever had a pet snake or a gecko or a bearded dragon or turtle? They stop moving around. It's called brumation. It's not a true form of hibernation because they can come out of it. But from December to March, the alligators disappear. Oh, look at this little guy. He needs a bite before he gets bitten. Hang on, bud. Look at this dude. I'm gonna give him a bite I'm gonna give him the best piece I've got.
Oh, he's leaving.
Is he still there?
He's there.
Hang on, bud. He needs to watch it, bro, because I mean, like, as soon as the boat leaves, like, he's fair game. Hang on, bud. Here, big chunk. Wait a minute. He can't smell it because it doesn't stink. It came straight out of the butcher shop. Come on, you little nerd. Come on, buddy.
Oh, no.
Oh, we're counting on you, dude.
Oh, you might grab it.
Yes. Here we go.
Take the money
Oh,
out.
heck. Oh, he's going to get the small piece. No, there's a bigger piece on the side. Get the big piece.
Come on, get it.
Ah, okay. He is doomed to be small forever. A lot of Native American cultures would use their tail feathers as look, you see, he's like, oh, dude. He's waterlogged. So out of those 30 eggs, only... I mentioned that this brown mark is the high water mark here, right? So by the end of summer, I'd say by September, when the snow melts, when the rest of the water comes down here, the water's going to get high. Maybe not quite as high as that. Can you see the brown mark there where it goes from dark gray to light gray right above it? The dark gray is the high water mark from 1974. This bridge was completed in 73, and that was the high water mark from 74. You can see that mark all throughout the swamp if you know what you're looking for. Column on this bridge. Have heart when you drive across this thing, it passed inspection. A bunch of bridges around here did not. And the way that they inspected these things, divers had to go down and physically touch and see what they could for every single one of these pillars. This happened in January. They rented my buddy, who's an alligator hunter, to make sure no alligators ate them. He got paid $70 an hour, and there were no gators out. I just finished telling y'all, there's no gators in January. It was the easiest money. He's like, don't tell nobody. He's just posting pictures on Instagram the whole time. I'm like, bro, holler at me next time. Yeah, nope. By myself. You stand up? Stand up. Oh, grab the wheel. Look at you. Here we go. Now look, turn it this way. Turn it this way for me, okay? A little bit more. A little bit more. A little bit more. Very good. Here we go, bud. Straight. You want to go fast? Is it fast enough? Fast enough. Let's see if somebody else will take a turn, okay? Ha Any other young people back there want to drop? Like those freezer pops just hit different in the summertime, you know? Cartoons look different, bro. What's up? Everything's better in the summer. So right now we're going around some stumps. I'm gonna actually get you, there's a big stump right there. Ask me how I know. Turn the wheel this way. Turn it a bunch. Start turning. Turn it a lot. More. Turn this way. Listen to me. Stop. If you don't listen to anything else I say, young people, listen to me right now. Turn this way. Nobody told me this. Stop. When you start driving, your parents are gonna send you to work. When you start driving, you're going to work, dude. And when you go to work, you're never gonna stop. So when you start driving, it's the end of childhood. Stay young a little bit longer. Stay home till you're 50. Stay and take a turn. Good job, dude. High five. All right. Hello and welcome. What's your claim to fame? What are you known for in the neighborhood? Come on, you're not the kid that did the backflip off the house into the swimming pool and nothing like that? No, don't be that bad. Here's the tactic that they would use. They would force the family. When you see a painting, when you see depictions of the Grand Arrangement, there's buildings on fire in the background. Just know that there are people in those buildings, right? It was pretty tragic. If you were lucky enough to survive that, they would board you onto separate ships and send you down the eastern seaboard. They would intentionally separate families. Mom's going here, dad's going here. Brother, sister. Can you imagine how traumatic? There's a poet named Longfellow who wrote a poem about Evangeline and Gabriel, who were destined to be married on the eve of Le Grand Arrangement. The British found out and they intentionally separated them. They made a pact to wait for each other wherever they landed. Evangeline waited on the banks of the Bayou Teche in St. Martinville, but Gabriel never showed up. He's probably waiting on some lonely bayou right now still. But that was a very common theme for Acadian families. If you were lucky enough to make it down the eastern seaboard, you made it to South Louisiana in the 1760s. What was waiting for you here? Malaria? Disease? I mean, where's the food, right? But not only did they survive, they did the same thing that they did in Nova Scotia. They improved the landscape and they thrived when they got here. By the way, the Acadians became the Cajuns. If you say Acadian fast enough and lazy enough, it becomes Cajun. Try it. A Cajun.